Hi everybody, it's 3 minutes past the due time, so let's get going. Today's webinar is regarding PDS Search Portal for Windchill. So let's just get going with a little bit of agenda. So we're going to look at introduction of boundary systems, introduction of myself, a little bit of an overview of the PDS Search Portal, a demonstration of it then, and if you have any questions afterwards, a Q&A session. So during the presentation, everybody will be muted, but there is a questions section inside of the webinar. So if you have any questions, please post it there. Also, if you have any issues with the audio, please also post it there and we can see if we can make some changes. So a little bit about myself. My name is Johan Strydom. I've got 20 plus years experience in the PTC product range. I am a certified Windchill implementer as well as a trainer. I've been implementing and supporting Pro Interlink since version 2. I've also got experience with the Windchill since version 6.2. And I'm also familiar with the PTC Navigate and ThingWorks product range. So before we get going with some more, I'm quickly going to have a quick poll. Perfect, so it looks like everybody can hear me fine. Once again, as I mentioned, if you have any issues, please let me know during the webinar using the questions section. So let's do a quick overview of Boundary Systems itself. So Boundary is a partner with PTC, but we also have several other partners. We are one of the top 16 fastest growing companies in the Cleveland area. We're also part of the PDS Vision Group, that is a global company, and the product I'll be showing today is one of the products of the PDS Vision Group. We also have capabilities in the product lifecycle management, data management, CAD design and consulting, simulation and product development. You can also see on the right hand side some of our customers that we serve quite often and happily. Here's just some of the other accreditations that Boundary Systems has. And as you can see there, PTC does feature as one of our major partners, and we spend a lot of time in ensuring that we are authorized, certified partners with all the products in PTC's product range. Just some of the other solutions that we also sell is, as I've mentioned before, PTC is our main partner, but we also have other partners. Things like Etrage is one of our products we sell fairly often to Windchill customers, but there's also others like Moldex 3D and Keyshot that's very strategic to us. So before we get into the product itself, I've got another quick poll. Cool. Thank you very much. So it looks like everybody that's attending today is actually currently using Windchill. And one last one. Do people outside of the engineering group access Windchill? Okay, good. It looks like all of you guys do use Windchill, and all of you have people outside of engineering accessing Windchill in some sort of a way. So I think this is definitely the correct audience. So let's start off with what is the PDS search portal for Windchill. So in most cases, Windchill is a complex system for people that in some cases, especially outside of engineering, need to perform a very simple job of retrieving information. And so for engineers itself, or engineers and designers, they need all the functionality. But for people that's not accessing Windchill that often, they actually don't need to see all the information that often. And because it's difficult for them to use, because they don't use it that often, it's a little bit difficult. And you can also have people getting to the wrong information just because they're not used to using the system that often. So what the PDS Search Portal offers is a very simple user interface that actually runs on top of a Windchill server itself. It uses plain simple Windchill access control and authentication. And what you will need is a minimal Windchill license to be able to use this functionality. Also, what's really nice about the Search Portal is the interface is very customizable. You can define what search criteria, metadata, file formats, and you can even add your custom branding to make it specific to whatever you might need. So before we start, just some information. So if you ever need to get hold of myself regarding any technical questions, as I've mentioned, my name is Johan Strydom. My email address is jstrydom@boundarysys.com. If you have any sales inquiries, you can contact your sales representative or sales@boundarysys.com, or visit the boundarysys.com website or our YouTube channel for any of the webinars or replays of the webinars. So let's get started with the demonstration. So I'm on my main login screen of my Windchill server, and I'm going to select my PDS Search Portal. So I don't know if you've noticed, I had a quick authentication. So it actually authenticated with my user already. And this is one of the options as a main landing page. You'll see at the top area, you've got a couple of selection things or selection options. So PDS Search is the main one. You can also have a quick dashboard view. Once again, as I mentioned, this is very customizable. depending on your needs. So what we are looking at here is I can do a very quick search for something specific. I've also got some reports, so the standard change reports regarding problem reports, change requests and change notices. And then on the right hand side I've got a couple of graphs, so I can see problem reports. There's currently 2 of them. I can also see them by date of when they were created. There's also additional reports available if I select on the reports button over there at the top, and you can see there I've got very similar to what you have inside for Windchill, where I can search for problem reports, change requests and change notices. So for instance, if I want to look at all the problem reports, I can select on it, say my state, select when it was created, and from there generate, and I'll get a quick view of all the available problem report, or all the created problem reports in this case. You'll see that all of these are linked, and they are linked directly into Windchill itself. So it is really a quick interface to get access to the data that's already inside of Windchill. You'll also notice in this case it will list all the states. I can also configure any of these options or any of the fields displayed here to ensure that I display everything that the specific user might require. So you'll notice, and I'm going to select on one just to show you. If I select on it, I go directly to that specific item inside the Windchill interface. So it's really a quick way of people searching for information and then getting directly to whatever they might need. If we jump back to our dashboard, so the main item I'm going to focus on today is a small Bobcat assembly, and you'll also see that as I start typing, it will list. So I just start typing Bobcat. You'll see there that it lists a Windchill part, a Creo part, a Creo drawing, as well as an additional document. So I'm going to say, and my criteria is set to latest. So I'm saying I want a Windchill part, select search, and you will notice it will jump back to the main display where it lists all the items. So this is a very, very simple and quick search where it basically looks for everything that uses the Bobcat main. And in this case, I'm looking at a Windchill part. It's also got a document associated to it. There are some PDFs, some plot files. So you can see there's a lot of additional information. And as I hover over them, it gives me a very quick preview of those specific items. Similar thing with the information icon. Anytime when I select on it, it will navigate to that specific item inside Windchill itself. Also, if I hover over the Creo view icon, it will display that specific item's thumbnail that is inside of Windchill itself. So you'll also notice at the top area, there are additional options that's available for selection. I can predefine which of these are selected by default. So in this case, I'm going to say that I want the structure, I want drawings, documents, DXF, and also step files. My criteria stays the same, and in this case, I'm going to say I'm going to look for a bill of material or a BOM. So after the search completes, you can see there is a complete bill of material of this bobcat assembly. I can see the number, the name, the quantity, file names where applicable, the version, the state, and as I mentioned, these are very customizable. What's also very nice about this tool is this little icon or option of an inline viewer. So I can, from a structure, very quickly have a look at any of the PDFs that's available by selecting the inline viewer and selecting on any of the PDFs that's part of the structure. You'll also notice that it lists on the left-hand side any of the additional items. So I selected DXF and step files as well. So you'll see some of these will have DXF and step files associated to the items in the structure itself. Very quickly, I can select whichever PDF that I might want to see and navigate through them all to very quickly see the different items in the structure itself. So one of the other things that's also quite useful in here is very often you will know a part number for a specific item, but you're not necessarily sure where it's used. So I can very quickly select on any of these items. You'll also see that the level is indicated in here, level 0 being the top level, 1, 2, 3 being sub-level, so we only have one level. I've selected one item. I can go to actions, and you'll see there in actions there's several options available. So I can look at the history, the where used report. I can directly from here create a problem report, or I can even publish it. So if this specific item might not have a PDF available, but there is a drawing, I can say go and publish it. It will create it for me, and the interface will refresh once it's available. But for now, I just want to select on where used. So for you guys that's familiar with Windchill interface, just to navigate to all of that information. So get you a part, search for it, get its information, and then navigate to the structure, getting to where used. You can see that might be several clicks, where this was search for the item, look at the structure, pick on something specific, and I can see where this item is being used. Some other functionality that's also available. So I mentioned before, there's things like your reports, where I can look at your standard problem reports, change requests, change notices. So also if I just look at, for instance, change requests, I'm going to select that I want all states and all the dates when it was created. I say generate, and it will show to me all of them that's available. You might have also noticed in my main portal interface, so I'm going to select all the information again and look for my main bobcat assembly. There's also several other options available. One of them being there's directly I can print from here. So if I want to print a whole list of drawings, I can predefine my printers and I can print directly from here. The next option there is Excel. So it will export all of this information into a Excel spreadsheet. You can also define in there, depending on your requirements, if that Excel should be hyperlinked back into Windchill, or if the zip file, the next option that I'm going to show you a little bit later on, you can export into a zip file, and that can then be totally available offline with all the information in there. So the complete structure as well as all the other information required. In my export option, I've got, once again, export the flat structure, and in actions, the options I showed you earlier on. You can also, you might have also noticed from the top area itself, I can search for number, I can add additional columns, so things like name or description, material, mass, or whatever might be required can be added in there. I can search for a specific baseline name or number, a specific ECN name or number, a specific revision, and also a state if you need things like the latest state as stored a previous. You can define all of those and have it listed in here. Then if we look at some of the other options that's available either for the administrator or for the user itself, there are quick links on the right hand side. We can have links. In my case, I've got to PDC, boundary systems, PDS vision, as well as creating a problem report. So a user doesn't even have to log into the main Windchill interface to create a problem report. Also under settings, the user can define which of the columns he might actually want to see. So if the user is not interested in seeing something like the view or the quantity or the file name, they can go and deselect that and it won't be available for them specifically. Then one of the other things that's really quite nice that's available is the ability to search for items based on a list of values. So a lot of the times when you've got somebody like manufacturing or procurement, they will get a list out of the ERP system, and I've got a quick sample I want to show you. So it's plain simple, a list of numbers, quantities, and who's the supplier of those items that I've got. And in most cases, you'll get something like this for or from the ERP system that they need to go and procure. So if and you saw that it's quite a simple Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to say, just drag it into the interface. As I drag it across, it will say to me there that I can drop the Excel file. The next thing it asks me is which of those items I'm interested in. So you'll see there that it lists all those columns that I showed you earlier on, number, quantity, and supplier, and it wants to know which is the column it should search on. So I've selected all the items. I just select on one of the items in the number column. You will see that it highlights blue, and I say OK. And now I'm going to say search for that. So what it does is it will do a complete search of all of those items that was in the list, and it will display them. So you'll see in the top area is all the normal parts, and at the bottom I can look at additional things. I defined DXF and step as well, so you can see there I've got all of those also available in the results. I can then very quickly say I'm, for instance, only looking for drawings. So in this search in table, I can say I'm looking for drawings only. So I just type .drw. You will see that it will filter the list based on only those items. I can then say select all of them, and the next thing I want to do is create a zip file. So in a usual case where you've got procurement, they need to send out a lot of drawings to suppliers that's going to manufacture some of these. I can say I want all of those in a zip file. And I can say this is Bobcat drawings for a specific supplier. Okay, you can also see there I can say that I want it in low resolution. I'm not going to select that option. I want it as is. Select OK, and it will very quickly grab all of those items together, create a zip file, and you'll notice in a second or so it will pop up with a where do I want to save the zip file. So this type of action inside of the native Windchill interface will take a very long time to do, whereas in here it took me a couple of seconds to grab the list of items, search for them all, and I've got the ability to now save all of that onto my hard drive. So I'm going to save it in there, and if I extract all of that, you can see in there everything that was listed, the plot files, the DXF files, the PDF files, all of them captured in one zip file that I've just quickly extracted. Very quickly, that's available that you can now send off to your supplier to use. There's also, as I mentioned before, this interface can be customized a lot. So we've looked so far at the main portal, the dashboard, but there's also the very simple interface that you can define. So if you have a look, you can see there, it's really very, very simple, where it lists the item, a little bit of an image, some basic information about the item. So things like the number, the version, the name, it's also available. So you can define that specific users get a specific interface where they can see very minimal interface or information to simplify what they're going to see and what they require. You can also define what is the default for different users. So if user X logs in, he only sees this. If a different user logs in, he sees a different interface. And that sort of covers everything that I wanted to show as part of the demonstration. So once again, just a reminder, if you need any additional information, you can contact myself, Joe Stradum at boundarysys.com or sales@boundarysys.com. This webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel as well as any of the previously recorded webinars. If you have any questions, please use the questions panel on the side to ask any of those. I will give you a couple of minutes to do that. So I've got one question that came in. Can you do latest revision specific searches? Yes, you can. So as part of the search criteria, you can define what the revision is. The default is it will do a search for latest revision and latest version, so or latest revision and iteration. You can also have specific criteria, for instance, latest released version or latest in-work version, depending on what is required. Does that answer the question? Cool, perfect. Thanks, Tom. Anybody else got a question? Perfect. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining the webinar. I hope you have a good day.